Members of the CBFC, George Baker from Kolkata, and joining us from Mumbai is Ashok Pandit. Prem Shukla of Dopair Ka Samna represents the right-wing point of view. With him tonight on the subject, she's against, you're for the curse list, or against the curse list, is Abha Singh. She's a well-known lawyer. She's on the wrong side tonight. Mukesh Bhatt, president of the Film and Television Producers Guild of India, Shobha and Bhavna Somaya are completing my panel. Who goes first? Who'd like to start first? I'd like to first go across to Mukesh Bhatt. Mr. Mukesh Bhatt, is there an argument on the other side? You know, these words which have been put out, of course, I will not repeat any of these words. Each of these are words. Many of them should be beeped, etc. But the logic is that these words are objectionable, they are abusive, and that they are against the law, and doesn't matter whether you have an A certificate or a U certificate or what language you are in, these words simply have to be removed. Mr. Mukesh Bhatt, the argument is being made here is a moral argument. You're first. Why don't you open the debate? Mukesh Bhatt.
See, first of all, Arnav, I would like to say that when Mr. Nihlani was appointed to this important chair, I personally, on behalf of the fraternity, was very happy that one of us has come on that responsible chair who will understand the problems of the filmmakers and see it in the right perspective. Little did I know that the very person whom I thought was one of us chose to take another path altogether. That has really baffled me and our entire fraternity and even challenged us. The same person is, see, how can you make, now I am the president of the Film Producers Guild of India. If I have certain views which I would like to implement so I think it's betterment for the industry, who am I to decide arbitrarily? I have to come in front of my council members, the stakeholders, and put the proposal of what I'm thinking. And then if everybody is on the same page, that's where we go and implement things. Here is a ban from my own fraternity passing such harsh decisions without even consulting us, not even bothering to consult us. This was shocking from a person who's from our own fraternity.
Let's go into the logic issue. Forget the consultative process. Let's go into the logic issue. George Baker, what's the logic? Tomorrow, a filmmaker, Mr. Baker, will want to make a film on the underworld, but the characters will be speaking like philosophers. Tomorrow, a filmmaker will want to make a film on the independence struggle, and suppose they want to make references to Bombay. The Censor Board will say, no, you have to refer to it as Mumbai. It's a complete anachronism. It makes no sense. What really is the thought behind this moral policing? Can you tell us, Mr. Baker?
Well, very frankly speaking, I would rather hold with a part of Mr. Pahlaj Nihalani's restrictions. Because if we refer to making films and we refer to using films as a medium of expression and at the same time a medium that conveys social content, it does not mean that we have to start allowing any and every sort of word coming into a dialogue.
What is any and every? Tomorrow,
what is
any and every? No, what is any and every? I don't understand. Tomorrow a filmmaker will want to make Prem Shukla, or anyone, by the way, feel free to come into the debate. It's an open debate. Tomorrow a filmmaker will want to make a film on gang wars in the rural heartland of India, but his characters will have to speak with a refined language. So basically, under this kind of moral policing, there would be no gangs of Wasipur. There wouldn't be half the films that are being made here today. Mr.
Well,
Baker,
I would just like to put a few points in front of you.
No, Mr. Baker, you tell me.
If you would just
Mr. Baker, answer my question. If I want to show gang wars, if I want to show gang wars in the rural heartland of India, what kind of language should the characters speak?
Fairly reasonably socially accepted language.
What nonsense.
Yes.
What nonsense are you talking?
I mean, it's all right for you to laugh. It's all right for you to laugh.
Socially accepted.
What I would ask you to do is kindly allow us to speak if you want us to speak.
1 second, Mr. Baker, please.
Mr.
Baker, don't censor my program, please.
Speak or we keep quiet
Mr. Baker, don't censor my program, please. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Let's get other points of view.
No, I'm not censoring your program. You're censoring my point of view.
Shobha.
You're censoring my point of view, and that is something I don't hold with.
Sir,
you are talking of freedom of expression.
Sir, you're on the other side. Even the moral police must hear.
I think that's pretty absurd.
Sir, even the moral police must listen. Do you know what you're saying? You can't refer to certain animals here in the course of this nowadays. If that were to be the case, then Dharmender's character in 1975 Sholay would have been banned. Phulan Devi's character in Bandit Queen would have been banned. Jab We Met would be banned. Omkara would be banned. Dirty Picture would be banned.
I would just like to draw...
Mr. Baker, come on. You know, we don't need this.
Now, may I say something?
No, 1 second, Mr. Baker. Here others, please.
I don't need you censoring my talk.
That's all right, Mr.
What I need is...
Mr. Baker, tolerance. Mr. Baker, tolerance.
Don't include me in this.
Mr. Baker, tolerance for others' point of view is very important, even for CBFC members. Yes, please, Shobha.
I think we're missing the point.
Yes, tolerance,
totally,
absolutely right. But at the same time, kindly refer to people like Mr. Satyajit Ray, Mr. Raj Kapoor, Mr. Mrinal Sen, Mr. Tapan Sinha, people, directors of their ilk who used to make films which have become legends and historic.
Mr. 1 second,
I would request you to look at
Mr. Raj Kapoor's films.
But why are we comparing?
Mr. Raj Kapoor's films.
That's not what the topic is about.
Why are we comparing?
No, we are comparing. We are comparing with a reasonable amount.
Okay, Ashok Pandit, please, on the screen, since he's saying something.
What I'm talking of is let's have a reasonable amount.
Very important. For me, Madhur Bhandarkar is also very important. For me, Anurag Kashyap is also very important. For me, Vishal Bhardwaj is also very important.
It's not about importance.
It could be very important.
So let us not compare the directors.
Excuse me.
You cannot issue this kind of a fatwa.
Can you please stop shouting? It's about
I am not comparing directors. I am comparing the taste.
A unilateral
Let us improve our taste as a nation.
Without consulting a board. Why is the board there in the first place? Is it a one-person board? If that is so, let the BJP declare that this one man has the authority to decide which language is acceptable, which words are acceptable. He does not possess that authority. He is doing it unilaterally. He is doing it arbitrarily. And also the BJP, I'm sorry to say this, the BJP, the Sadhvis use worse language.
Yes.
The Sadhvis, the parliamentarians use worse language.
Why do you blame a political party for the use of language?
Is he going to be banning them?
Why are we getting BJP into this?
Because he's a BJP nominee.
Let us not get BJP into this.
He's a BJP nominee.
This is a filmmaker who was passed in
He's a declared Modi supporter. That's why. So why don't they first start?
I object to Shobha getting BJP into this discussion. Pahlaj Nihalani is a filmmaker.
Mother Teresa's doings, but that does not mean that I am Mother Teresa.
About censorship. It's a discussion about specific words in cinema. We are not talking about Satyajit Ray and Raj Kapoor and doing a sort of quality test here.
I strongly suggest, 1 second, I don't know why you're getting so touchy about the BJP. The government did nominate him. I mean, he didn't nominate himself here.
He himself is a BJP declared supporter of Mr. Modi's
let us not get BJP into this.
Yes, I will get it into this because it's relevant.
We are filmmakers and we have our own mind.
Argument. Who are you to say we can't get BJP into this argument? He is a BJP nominee. He is a self-declared Modi nominee.
Because BJP is a fan.
1 second.
Politicizing the entire issue.
Censor Board.
Gentlemen,
there is a board. It's not one man.
Articles in the newspaper.
This is what it is. It says it should not violate your.
No, don't politicize.
It should not be vulgar. So what Pahlaj Nihalani is doing is he's following the guidelines of the Censor Board, the objectives. So you have to see.
No, you tell me one thing. You tell me 1 second. 1 second. Gentlemen, a minute, please. A minute, please. Can I ask you one? No. 1 second. 1 minute, please. You know, all kinds of objectionable language can be used in parliament and in political rallies. But they can't be used, abasing, in movies. One. B, are you for or against films like Gangs of Wasseypur? Do you feel that these films should or should not be made? Or do you feel the language should be different if they are to be made? And if the language is to be different, can you tell us, for example, what kind of language should be used in films like Gangs of Wasseypur?
We have to see what the law of the land says. If the objective...
No, 1 minute, please.
The notification. See, we are here in a democracy. If the notification says it has not to be vulgar and obscene, when Indian Penal Code 294 says that if you are speaking using an obscene word, you can be imprisoned for 3 months. If it says any words which violate the modesty of the women, it is a cognizable offence in this country.
I am asking you, Abba Singh, I am asking you 1 second, please.
Imprison the sadhvis in that case.
No, do that also. Imprison them also.
So let's not have double standards.
Intellectuals cannot take the country for a ride.
Who are the super intellectuals?
No.
Are you saying?
Who's the pseudo intellectual?
Yes.
It is all for freedom of expression.
1 second, please.
Your very channel, Arnab, your very channel talks of the sick mindset which is leading to so many rapes of minor girls. You have been championing the cause and it has been proven.
Two different stories. Don't confuse issues.
All these obscenity has led to rape of minor girls. The pornography which is being shown, it has shown, Arnab, you have yourself done it, and let us be honest about it.
1 second first.
So the Censor Board all along has been disregarded the
Nihlani is doing. He's done it.
All the other Censor Board chiefs, all the other Censor Board chiefs have not done their job.
If it is obscene, you change the law. Ask the parliamentarians to change the law.
No, 1 second.
Don't make it BJP. Make it for the country. The society's values and standards are more important.
Who decides these values and standards?
First of all, Abba Singh, you know, if you ask filmmakers and scriptwriters that when they write each line, there should be a lawyer with them. They should immediately take legal opinion. Sir, Mr. Ashoke Pandit, please. I know the kind of language you used about Karan Johar in your tweets recently. Why don't you improve your language?
To talk. Exactly.
Why don't you censor your language?
No, that was an
Mr.
individual.
Ashok Pandit.
That was an individual.
No, what do you mean individual?
Different set of laws. Different set of laws to abuse an individual.
Just a minute. Ashok Pandit, listen to me. Listen to me, Mr. Ashok Pandit. I have your tweets with me. I'm not repeating them. It is a matter of convenience for you, Mr. Ashok Pandit. On the one hand, you stand against the ban of objectionable language on screen. I don't even want to repeat the ridiculous, disgusting, pathetic, personal, unfortunate, shameful comments that you use on the social media. In fact, Mr. Ashok Pandit, let me tell you directly today, for using this kind of language, on a social medium, a person who is member of the Censor Board, you use this kind of language in the social medium. I question how you can be on the Censor Board after using this kind of language, Mr.
And why shouldn't he be persecuted according to law?
I want to ask.
Yes, of course, everybody who violates the law has to be
prosecute this guy
as an individual.
Mr. Ashok Pandit, 1 second, please.
Don't compare and don't.
I will compare.
Don't mix up.
I will compare. I am at liberty to.
My character is talking.
I am at liberty to, Mr. Ashok Pandit. I am at liberty to. Any government, I am at liberty to speak for what I think is right, Mr. Pandit. Don't you try to censor my voice.
There is a difference between character who's talking and there is a difference between an individual who's talking.
Mr. Ashok Pandit.
Cuss words are cuss words, regardless of who you're aiming them at.
Now, Mr. Ashok Pandit.
So there are no different sets of laws.
No.
So if a cuss word is breaking a law, then you should be prosecuted.
Okay,
change the law.
Otherwise, change the law.
Can I get Bhavna Somaya into it? Shobha, I have a few examples, and I want to. Bhavna Somaya was laughing as this discussion was proceeding. I have a couple of questions. You know, would Rani Mukherjee's character's usage of abuses to convey a certain frightful situation in No One Killed Jessica be as strong if she had not used quote-unquote objectionable language as part of her overall character portrait? Would Vidya Balan's character in Dirty Picture, for that example, been as real if she would have overstepped the usage of puns? Or the great film made Omkara have justified its attempt at adapting Othello to an Indian context, which saw the film in a Western UP context involving true characters, part of a gang speaking a certain language. All of this will now disappear, Bhavna. And this is very real. It's actually a diktat which has been... Why were you laughing when she was speaking?
No, I was laughing at the outrage of everybody. And my answer to you is that, of course, it would not be effective. But I really think that we are losing the point. The point is that all these points that Pahlaj Nihalani has made more or less everything has already been there. It is just rephrased and put, and somehow because it has reached all the offices, everybody, there is an outrage. For example, double meaning dialogue, double meaning lyrics, double meaning...
no, I think he's taken it many steps further.
I think the only new one is
we don't want to use these
Mumbai.
Words. Yeah. No, there are many other words
and
in Hindi and English.
Virginity.
No, there are many other words, and let's not use those words on the channel.
But what I feel about the film fraternity here is
but we are not ready to use it on the channel.
Abba,
the 1 minute we want to see.
What I feel about the film fraternity is that everything, whenever they are submitting a film to the censors, is eventually judged according to the context and the character. And when the examining committee is watching a film and members are making their cuts, they are discussing it with the RO, and the filmmaker is called into the room and he's given a chance to advocate his case.
Irrespective. I don't think that's important. The question is...
I think it is important or not.
No, I'll tell you why, Ms. Somaya, I don't agree with you. The question is, do we want to live in a real world or an unreal world? And I think we are basically saying, is Indian society mature enough to accept reality? Do we want to really unravel? For example,
should we all be nude?
I feel...
No, Mr. Baker, don't stretch the argument, please. What I'm not saying, don't try and stretch it. It may try... Mr. Baker, let me ask you. A character from... One second. A character from Devdi...
Very important for me to tell Mr. Baker something.
Yes, go ahead, Mukesh Bhatt. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Arnav.
Go ahead, Mukesh Bhatt.
You see, last year being the president of the guild, I had the privilege of meeting the Cultural Affairs Minister of China. And when I met him, he asked me a very interesting question. He told me, Mr. Bhatt, if I have to ask you in one sentence, what is that defining feature of Bollywood, of the Indian film industry, that makes it so powerful, that is the most powerful entertainment industry of Asia of the East? I looked at him and I told him one thing. I said, we have freedom of expression.
Yeah, that's right.
Free to make any kind of subject the way the writer conceives, the filmmaker conceives, which China doesn't offer. His face went white and he nodded in agreement with me.
You want to take that away?
That is the fundamental thing which I'm asking. That is being taken away now by this regressive mindset.
That is why right in the beginning, what Mr. Arnab Goswami found very hilarious was when I said, let us have some socially acceptable language.
Yes, so I didn't find it hilarious. I found...
We are talking about the real world.
No, one second.
We are talking
Mr.
about
Baker.
the digital space.
Mr. Baker.
In digital space, any kind of controlling is obsolete, regressive, and outdated. We are living in a digital era.
No, one second. You see, this is what Mr. Baker believes. Mr. Baker, I think you are among those people who believe that we can continue to live in a bubble.
Which world are we living in?
No, we want to live in a bubble over which there is some thought control and a moral police, and the self-appointed moral commissioners like Mr. Baker will sit around and decide what is right and wrong. Mr. Baker, are you even aware of the guidelines issued in 1991 of the Censor Board? Are you aware of the objectives of film certification? Are you actually, let me ask you, let me quiz you today. You're a member of the Censor Board, right? Can you tell me what the objectives of film certification are?
I have just become one, yes.
So can you tell me what the objectives of film certification are? Can you tell me what the objectives of film certification are?
We are supposed to certify, not censor.
No, I'm asking Mr. Baker because he's our new moral commissioner.
Certify, not
Mr.
censor.
Baker, what are the objectives of film certification?
No, I'm not a moral commissioner. Please don't try to ridicule my point of view.
No, but what are the guidelines of film certification?
No, you have no right to do this. Please
what
don't
are the guidelines of film certification? I believe you are. You take away my right. You try and do things that take away my right to watch what I want in the way that I want, and you now want to control my expression. I'm sorry, Mr. Baker. I'm really sorry, Mr. Baker. You may be a member of the Censor Board, but you also have your limits.
Yes,
now I'm asking you, Mr. Baker.
I am very much more liberal than you people are.
Mr. Baker, I'm
very much more liberal than you people are.
Mr. Baker, how are you liberal? My question to you is, can you tell me the guidelines?
Simply because I used the words socially acceptable language.
So, Mr. Baker, I'm asking you a question. Let us understand. Let us understand what is socially acceptable.
It's very simple.
One second, Mr. Baker, I have a question for you. Will you listen to me or not? My question to you is...
Yes.
There is a character from a film called Devdi. I don't know, have you seen Devdi?
No, I have not.
Okay. Have you seen Delhi Belly?
No.
Yes, I have.
So, okay. So, would Delhi Belly have accurately told the story of average Indian males in their 20s in urban India who found themselves in the midst of a powerful crime syndicate, should they not have expressed themselves in quote-unquote objectionable words?
Well, basically, were these things, are they being, these words, are we using them normally in our day-to-day life?
What are you talking about? I am not I don't know, I'm not a member of a crime syndicate.
Has he put earplugs in his ears when he goes out into the streets or in offices?
Since we are not members of a crime syndicate, how are we expected
do you not listen to people on trains, buses, streets, bazaars, theatres, your neighbours? I mean, do you walk around with earplugs?
Okay, what's it? Mr. Baker, Mr. Baker, what have you seen gangs of Wasseypur? One second. Prem Shukla is with me in the studio. I have a question for him.
Can I come in, Arnab?
No, 1 second, Ashok Pandit. 1 minute, please, Ashok Pandit. Prem Shukla, have you seen gangs of Wasseypur?
Yes, I have seen.
Have you seen? 1 second. Have you seen gangs of Wasseypur?
Yes.
You have seen gangs of Wasseypur. Can you tell me Manoj Bajpayee's character? Right? What was the name of Manoj Bajpayee's character? Sardar Khan. My question, I am asking. Now, my question to you is, no, it's not a Kaun Banega Crorepati question. My question to you is, this is a film which is set in the coal mafia of Dhanbad.
Yes.
Tell me, what kind of language would you like the coal mafia of Dhanbad to use?
I have no objection.
Just tell me, please.
I
want to know
about the language.
No, you tell me. You tell me what is the kind of language which you want.
I have no objection about the film certified by the Censor Board and exhibited in this country. I have never complained
about these films.
Any film.
No, these films.
Just
1 second.
This
list which is here, which I don't want to read out. According to.
Please allow me to put my point.
Mr. Nihlani, you ask any of these women out there. No, 1 second.
There is a problem. Please try to understand.
Sir, I am asking you.
Please try to understand the problem.
What is the problem?
There is existing Victorian laws which are not acceptable to the society. Victorian laws. Victorian laws existing.
1 second. She's asking
Mr. Shukla, your party is a part of the government. Why don't you change the laws?
No, I'm not.
Time the laws are there, they have to be respected.
Please allow to put my point.
Republic. We cannot.
Before completing my point, you are interrupting. So you are not getting me properly. Please allow me to put my point. अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी आवश्यक है, दी गई है, लेकिन अपशब्द की आजादी नहीं है. अपशब्द की आजादी देना है तो आप उसका वर्गीकरण कर सकते हैं, उस पर आप डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं, कानून बना सकते हैं, और विक्टोरियन लॉ से जो करंट लॉ है वो क्या बनना चाहिए उस पर ओपन डिबेट कर लीजिए कि सोसाइटी में, पार्लियामेंट में. नहीं, वो उस फिल्म को लेकर मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं है. I have no objection on that film.
I tell you, Mr.
Shukla, about the expression.
I don't know which century.
Freedom of expression, no one can challenge it. But you cannot give.
Go to the court and get this list null and void.
No.
Why don't people go and object in the court? My biggest question is this: the way crime is happening against women in this country, why?
How are you thinking
it? Biggest
mindset is being.
Please identify the force.
These vulgar.
Please identify the force.
Okay. Arnab, I have a question to ask. I want to ask a question. That when Arvind Kejriwal was being referred to by some of these very words by political parties, why wasn't everybody in a state of outrage then, saying, oh, but you know, this is terrible and we must object to that? He was called this and worse by BJP rivals and others. Why weren't we so outraged?
That is what I'm saying.
How can you connect crimes against women?
Why don't we take an action? Why don't we go to the court?
Let's not confuse issues and bring crimes against women into this.
The law says that you cannot have any of these words which
we can't have double standards either.
You have to uphold the law.
We cannot have double standards.
Every time we say the Sikh mindset is leading to the rape of minor girls of 5, 6 years.
Nobody is saying that.
My worry is that you, when the country is not mature, you cannot talk. The freedom of expression has reasonable restrictions.
Sir, don't give. No. 1 second. No.
Who decides who's mature and who's not mature?
These words are not maturity.
Abha, let me. What you are doing?
If you get the World Cup, I will become nude. Is that freedom of expression?
I'm sorry, Abha. Both you and George Baker are using certain outdated, antediluvian, absolutely contradictory and hypocritical. If I may say so. Absolutely hypocritical arguments. And in that case, I
public place,
I want Pahlaj Nihalani. I want Pahlaj Nihalani to turn himself into jail tonight. 1 second. I want Pahlaj Nihalani. 1 second, Ashok Pandit. I want Pahlaj Nihalani. 1 second, Ashok Pandit. To go to the closest police station. Right? And I want this gentleman called George Baker to have the guts to say that of all people, Mr. Baker should say that first Mr. Pahlaj Nihalani should turn himself into jail because he made a film called Andaz in 1994. I don't even want to repeat the kind of disgusting language which was used, Mr. Baker. You talk of Satyajit Ray. 1 second. First of all, you have a censor board chief who has made the kind of films which would make all our great filmmakers turn in their grave. The kind of language. He has the moral guts to talk today.
Well,
the kind of shame. 1 second, sir. 1 second. 1 second, sir. Please let me speak now. Do you know the kind of language that he used in this film called Andaz?
Either fortunately or unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity.
Well, great. Then I think next time, Mr. Baker, before you support him, go and ask him whether he should be there or not. I find it ridiculous that a person who's made this kind of low-level language films should now be talking about the moral degradation of society. I have the lines here with me. I will not repeat it. I will send it to you. You'll be embarrassed that you are operating under such a censor board chief. And then on top of it, you want to come on television and lecture us?
I'm not lecturing. All I asked was for some socially acceptable language.
What is socially acceptable? Who decides? You decide?
That's all.
You decide what is socially acceptable or what is not?
You are deciding because you are not referring to the words.
I'm telling you, tomorrow Seema Biswas's character. You want Seema Biswas to speak a certain language when she portrays Bandit Queen? Have you seen Bandit Queen?
But Bandit also had a lot of censor problems.
Not because of only language.
The role of a bandit queen that you have to be foul-mouthed.
No, then you have to, I'll tell you, I'm sorry, but then you want a certain kind of sanitized speech. You want certain situations. You want certain...
Yes.
Then I think...
Because society has to live in a sanitized way.
I can't believe this.
Not live in an
I can't believe this.
World.
I can't believe this. What are you doing, Mr. Baker?
You can't believe it. It's
you are here to sanitize society. This is actually happening. Viewers, please watch this. We have a CBFC member who wants to sanitize society.
Yes, I am a CBFC member. I have just become one.
You want to sanitize society? Yes, Ashok.
Arnab, I want to.
No, but why do you have to say to Mr. Baker, what are you people doing in the censor board nowadays? What kind of censor board is
this? And my chairperson, Pahlaj Nihalani, Arnab, all the cuss words, the list which has come out, the fatwa which has come out, am I able to use other cuss words which are not in the list? What does this list mean? Can I create new cuss words and use in the film?
That is what I said.
How can you fix up that? You can't use this cuss words only. It's a joke. This is a joke. This fatwa is a joke.
Why don't you resign?
It's a joke again.
Why don't you resign?
Exactly.
Ashok Pandit, resign.
I'm ashamed to get this list.
Resign, Ashok Pandit, resign. Why be a member of the censor board and speak on Newshour?
You are protecting. I will try and bring in a change. I don't believe in running. I don't believe in running from the ground.
Go to the court and get
bring in a change in the system.
The conduct of
we don't believe in running.
I want to ask. We can't go on this forever.
His conduct should be investigated.
There's a very important question I want to ask Abbas Singh and Mr. Baker.
Yeah, go ahead, Mukesh.
A very important question I want to ask.
Go ahead, Mukesh, but go ahead. Go ahead.
There is a film a period film called Bombay Velvet, made by Anurag Kashyap.
Yeah.
It's a period film of Bombay in the 60s.
Yeah.
Now with the new diktat which has come, you cannot use Bombay, you have to use Mumbai. Now tell me one thing, how can it be so ridiculous that you're making a period film of Bombay in the 60s
Bombay High Court
and call it Mumbai?
Change Bombay Times.
No, watch, just one. Let one.
High Court is here.
Ashok Pandit is replying. Go ahead, Ashok Pandit.
Now we are talking about a period film.
Bombay Times
that time Bombay was Bombay, not Mumbai.
Yeah.
How can you call it Mumbai?
We are not consulted.
Exactly. And here on one side, let me finish. On one side, our Honorable Prime Minister is wooing the foreign investors to come into the country. And this film, Bombay Velvet, is produced by 20th Century Fox. What kind of signals are we sending them? That we are undependable people? We work on our personal whims and fancies? There's no law and order in this country? You want to woo the foreign studios to come here, and then you pass a dictate overnight that Bombay Velvet should be called Mumbai Velvet.
No, let Mr. Baker reply. Let Mr. Baker reply, please.